Hi class, my name is Francisco Serrato,
Emilie Gleisberg.
and today we'll be focusing on how to properly execute a handstand for beginners. We'll be using our reference, which is Handstand, a 4-stage model, but we'll be focusing on the first 2 stages as they are the ones that properly tell us how to execute a handstand for beginners. Hey guys, before you get started on your handstand, here's some things to keep in mind. First, you have a smaller base of support when you're standing on your hands than when you do when you're standing up. Secondly, your center of gravity is a lot higher when you're standing on your hands. Thirdly, unusual muscle activity. What does that mean? You're using your upper body rather than your lower body. Fourthly, because you're using unusual muscles, they're gonna get tired faster. Fifth, you're gonna be swaying back and forth, just like a baby would if they're learning how to walk. And lastly, whole body control and awareness. Keep that in mind. Now that I gave you those quick tips on how to do a handstand, we'll get into the first 2 stages. Stage 1, maintain a straight body line and entry. In this stage, balance isn't the priority. Stage 2, maintain that straight body line, the entry, and now we're gonna incorporate balance into that. Now, these 3 concepts are the core fundamentals of a handstand. Also in this stage, you'll find your students' weaknesses or weakness. And lastly, you'll figure out the perfect exit strategy on how to get out of a handstand. Hey Emily, I wanna do a handstand.
Well, Francisco, you've come to the right place. I can teach you a handstand.
Great.
First off, to maintain a straight body line, you're gonna have to be able to do these joint positions, starting with plantar flexion, which is pointing your toe, knee extension, which is keeping your legs straight, hip extension, which is not bending at the hips, a posterior pelvic tilt, which is pulling your butt in, shoulder abduction and shoulder elevation, cervical extension, and wrist flexion and finger flexion will all be part of your handstand position.
Hey, thanks.
So first off, in order for you to understand the right body alignment, I'm gonna have you stand up against the wall. So stand up, back to the wall, yep. And you're gonna actually wanna keep your feet together as that's how you'll be in the handstand. Focus on doing your posterior pelvic tilt right now. Hands up at your sides. Now you're gonna wanna bring them, walk those arms as hard as you can, bring them in, and then push your shoulders up, okay? So we're gonna start from down here. Obviously we can't do plantar flexion in this position, but you have your locked knees, you have your hip extension, you're doing your posterior pelvic tilt, you have your arms abducted, and you have your shoulders elevated. Because you're against the wall, it's hard to do your cervical extension, but in your handstand, you'll have your head tilted a little bit backwards. You'll have your hands, your wrists flexed, and your fingers will be flexing against the ground. Push. There you go, good. So now that you know the correct body position, we're gonna work on getting your legs up into the right position. So we're gonna bring one leg up, lock that knee, stay nice and straight, push through those shoulders, bring the other one back down. Try to keep those legs straight. Good, point your toe. Good, straight leg, and down. Good, and come back down. Good, so for this exercise, you wanna do 1 to 2 sets of 5 reps on each side. So now that we did that, you wanna start working on your shoulder shrugs and knowing that kind of body awareness. So I want you to relax and sink down in your shoulders. And now push up and shoulder shrug as hard as you can. Good, again, relax and push up. Good. Okay, so for this exercise, you wanna do 1 to 2 sets of about 5 to 7 reps. So now that we've given you some strengthening exercises or like body control exercises, I want to see how your kick up is going to work because flexibility is sometimes a problem. So can I have you reach towards the ground right now?
Yeah.
Put your hands on the ground. So even if you have to put it out this way. Yeah, okay, so for him, flexibility is going to be a problem for a kick up because he needs all of his weight, which is over here, to come over his shoulders. So with somebody like this, I would actually bring them up onto the railing over here. So I'm going to have you do the same thing, but come over to here. This will fix the common problem or a common misconception that kicking harder gets you up better. It actually doesn't. What you want to do is bring your hips over to your handstand position. So lift your other leg, legs together. See how much easier that was? Everything's about control here. So slowly bring one leg back down. Good, and back down. So this is a good way to spot them into their position without having them over kick because they're not flexible enough to get into that position. Go ahead and come down.
Feels great.
So when you're going into stage 2 and integrating balance into both of those things, it's very important that I clear up a misconception or a common problem that I see. Handstands, people tend to think that you balance on your palms of your hands, but you actually balance in your fingers, which is why we actually do flex your fingers to put pressure onto the ground. Closer, point your toes. Closer. Good. So, now that we know his body position, he has a correct body position, this exercise, we're going to focus on shifting his weight from his palms to his fingers. So go ahead and shift your weight to your fingers. You're going to barely float away and come back. Good. One more time. And back. Great job. For this exercise, you want to do about 1 to 2 sets and 5 to 10 reps of this because this is really good for developing that finger control. So before we move on to me spotting you and learning your balance and your full handstand like off of the wall, I want to teach you your exit strategy because we're in stage 2 right now. So the exit strategy of a handstand is basically our cartwheel from your handstand position. So like we found out earlier, I found out that you have a left cartwheel, so that means that your twist out would be to your right side, landing on your right leg. So I'm going to quickly just show you. If you fall over backwards that way, we're going to come here. If I tip, I'm going to put my foot down. And then did you see my twist? So it's like a twist out cartwheel. So let's just work on that really quickly. So we're going to get up into your position. I'm going to be on the other side because I know that you're going to come down on the other side. So go ahead, get up into your position. So say you're tipping, you're going to start turning that way and right foot down. Awesome! Now that we've covered your straight body line, your entry and your exit, and some exercises that will help you with that, we're going to work on just a spotted static handstand. Now this is for balance and just all around body awareness and knowing where you need to be. So because of your one of your weaknesses of flexibility, I'm going to still keep you on the bar and get you up into that position. And I'm going to help you try to balance and find your balance.
Got it.
So one leg at a time. And then other ones very slowly. Legs straight. Pull your hips in. Good, right there. This is great. Now I want you to try to balance using your fingers by pushing with your fingers. Good, I felt that. That was great. Keep going. Awesome. And then one leg down at a time. Ooh. Great job. Awesome. So this is an exercise to be done with the spotter. I would say I'm at least 4 times a week and 1 to 2 sets beginning, moving up to 3 to 4, increasing in duration and not necessarily reps. So now that we've been through stage 1 and 2 of a handstand progression for beginners, I'm going to look at my client's weaknesses. So what I noticed while going through these motions were his hamstring non-flexibility. So I'm going to ask him to stretch his hamstrings so hopefully he can start kicking up from the floor from this position versus having to come up from here because he can't get his hands this close to his feet when he bends over. Another weakness I see is just some scapular and shoulder weakness and just a lack of awareness of where they should be or keeping them there with the amount of weight that he's holding. So he's going to want to do like the shoulder shrug exercises that I gave him to help with that control. Also, core strength is a huge thing in handstands as you're basically holding a hollow body. And so the reason he's arching a little bit is lack of just keeping that there because it's something you have to focus on while you're focusing on everything else. So those 3 things are common beginner problems. Most of the time when you get a handstand beginner, you already know that you're going to have to work on either shoulder or leg flexibility, and you will have to work on their core strength and their shoulder strength because humans are not made to hold their own body weight on their wrists or their shoulders. So it's something that does have to be trained.
So make sure you guys review this video so you can do a handstand and go from beginning to expert.
Woo!
Yeah.